firewood the other day, and it occurred to me that the part I don't like about cutting firewood, I actually enjoy cutting firewood, but the part I don't like about it is the trying to figure out how to measure and where to cut your firewood to the same length. I've done that with chalk before. I've done it with a tape and just using a hand axe to cut a mark on the log, and it just doesn't really work very well. It's not very time efficient. For me, it's important to cut firewood the same length. It helps it stack better. It produces a nice, neat looking stack of logs. You know, call it personal pride, call it whatever you will, but I like the way stacked firewood looks when it's stacked up neatly. This is what happens when you don't cut firewood the same length. And frankly, silly as it may sound, it bothers me. So I went out and went looking for a solution to that. And what I came up with, as at least a first try, is the Mingo, what's it called? The Mingo Ultimate Firewood Marker. So we're going to take this out, we're going to try it. I haven't even had it out of the box yet. We're going to see what this thing's all about. So it really just comes in two pieces. You've got the wheel, and it's got interchangeable wheels. I got the 16-inch wheel because our firebox is fairly small, and 16 inches is where I want to cut, so I got the 16-inch wheel. Fairly solidly made. Doesn't feel like it's going to break on me. So let's see how this thing goes together. There's only two pieces, so it's not terribly difficult to figure out how it goes together. You just unscrew this, drop the wing nut on the floor. Got a carriage bolt here. Put it in the right. It's got markings for the wheel size of 14, 16, 18, and 20 to 24 inch wheel size. We're using a 16-inch wheel. So we put the carriage bolt in the 16-inch slot. Secure it here with the wing nut. Probably put some Loctite on that once I'm sure it's working right. And then as this wheel rotates on the firewood, this little nub sticking out here pushes against this little rod, which then will trigger the spray can. You use landscape paint, basically inverted can paint. With this, I'll show you what that looks like here in a minute. So basically got a can of Rust-Oleum inverted marking paint. You just pull the tab off of here, slide it down in there. The little tube that sticks out of the can goes down through here. When this comes around, it pushes that rod and basically just bends that tube enough to trigger the paint. Pretty straightforward. Let's take it out and see how it works. Got a can of Rust-Oleum inverted marking paint here. So if you look down in here, you'll see a hole in the bottom of this unit. What you have to do is not just take out the little plastic tab here, but you have to take this whole cap off. Let's see if I can do this without getting paint on me. My guess is no, but be gentle, but be... Yep, see? Now, do we have it on me? Not so far. That'll probably change. But you got to put this down in here so that this stem that sticks up sticks down through that hole in the bottom. So it snaps down in there like that. I don't know if you can see that. So we move this wheel around until that nub that sticks off of the wheel is up against this bar. We're going to start it way up here. And just roll it down. Works pretty good. Now the mark it makes, at least the mark this makes, is about the size of a silver dollar. So I guess there is still a little bit of margin for error there. I don't know if there's... Let's try shaking that up a little bit. See if maybe that'll give us a thicker mark. Maybe something we can work with here. Rotate our wheel around. We'll start right here. Now about the same. A little bit bigger than a quarter. Definitely a darker mark. But you know, it's not going to give you 16.0 inches, but it'll give you your mark. Certainly more accurate than trying to hand cut with a hatchet, or you know, probably about the same type of accuracy you'll get with a tape. But not bad. So far I like it. Now the problem you're going to have with this is what to do with this, right? Now I've got to go lay this down and pick up my saw. I've thought about, there's a place for a lanyard right here. I've thought about what would happen if we hung it here from a hook on our belt. I may try that. Excuse me. But what I don't want to do is have a negligent discharge of this and end up with paint all over my pants. Y'all want to know one of the reasons I moved out here? Here's one of them. Alright, so what do we think of this thing? I like it. I think I'm going to use it. It does a good job. Like I said, the only problems I have with it is the size of the dot is probably 3/4 of an inch. Something like that. So, I mean, really, just saw in the middle of the dot and you'll be fine. The other thing is, you know, my chalk, which I have a little chalk holder. I mean, really, I can just stick this in my pocket. And it seems handier, right? But I still have to have a tape. And so I have to run the tape, and it slips off the end of the log and rolls up in your tape measure. So that's a problem. Now this is a little bit bigger, so I like the idea of making a holster or putting a lanyard on this and clip it on your belt, but really that's going to be unhandy. This thing's fairly large, and also there's the problem of it potentially shooting paint all over your pants, so probably not. I'll probably just lay it aside and pick up the saw, and then lay down the saw and pick up this. But you only have to do it once for every log, right? And if you've got your logs all laid out, you just run it down all of them and then start your sawing. I really don't think it's going to be a problem. Definitely heavy duty. I don't see it getting broken. I guess time will tell. But I like it. I think I'm going to use it. So one thing I think I will have to do, excuse me, is figure out some way to carry this in my saw bag, in my firewood bag. I see maybe something with PVC, something like that. We'll see. Maybe that's another video. But yeah, overall, I think the Mingo marker is going to stay with us. I like it. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got something out of it. If you like this kind of stuff, please give us a thumbs up. It really does help. If you want to see more, subscribe and come check us out at selfsufficientpat.com. Thanks.